Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's doing spectacular out there today. We have got quite a bit of crypto news for you today, talking about the billions of dollars worth of deals that are coming into fruition now that we have a pro-crypto president. And we also need to get into the update on some of the recent comments the president has made regarding taxes, not specific to crypto, as we have seen some of these comments in the past where maybe there's no capital gains tax on some of these cryptos, but specific to the income tax here in the USA. And if we all of a sudden as Americans don't have to pay income tax, or some of us don't have to pay income tax, or we all don't have to pay as much taxes at least, that is more money that we have at our disposal to then invest into the stock market, into cryptocurrencies, into this asset class, which is certainly a bullish thing. Kind of cool, guys. So let's get into a couple stories about tax cuts and billion-dollar deals and why crypto will explode in 2025. I hope you guys are doing great today. We got the tunes happening. Let me get a different tune on and let's kick this thing off. All right. Shout out to the chat, by the way. Shout out to John out there. Who else we got? Let's check it out. Let me share the screen. Boom. Got it. Okay. Scott, Papa, Keith in the chat. And Scott Avink as well. We got James Bushman. We got Papa. We got the crew. We got Kev in the chat and a few others. Welcome, guys. Kevin. Hope you guys are doing well. Look at this. Just to fire this thing off, and if you guys are newer to the channel, here's how we do it. We're going to do a little market kind of breakdown. What's winning, what's losing of the day. Look at the markets. Get into some of the news and then do a Q&A at the end. Our total market cap has broken back above this little trend line that I have drawn here. This green line that we saw some potential resistance coming up at, especially on the daily candles. We saw some potential resistance here. We broke above it. We found support off the top of it, and then we moved a little bit higher. We're coming down, maybe going to retest at the $2.85 trillion level again before continuing to the upside, which we very well may do. Bitcoin specifically has come back up to the $90,000 range. We were thinking possibly that we might see a little bit of resistance at like the 99, 100K level. Coming up next, we're not there yet. We were looking at the low like $88,000, $89,000 level to maybe find some resistance because of these weekly candles over here that we're closing for Bitcoin. Well, guess what? We absolutely exploded back above it because, frankly, the tariff news got lightened a little bit, little less intensity from the president on tariffs, a lot less intensity from the president against the Fed. So that certainly caused a little bit spark of excitement in the crypto market and for the traditional market as well, which is why the S&P 500 is back up to like $5,500 again. But as for Bitcoin, just like total market cap, guys, we do want to see on this breakout a bullish retest off support. I would say support is probably somewhere around this 92.5 region. We've had quite a few, if you look at the dailies for Bitcoin, quite a few times where we've bounced off of this level. So I'm not going to be surprised to see us touch down here, which could potentially be a good opportunity for a long. That being said, with stop losses set, definitely above 90K, I'd say, because what could happen is we could lose this level. And if we lose this level, you don't want to be riding a Bitcoin long down into 88 and to 83 or lower if we can do that. As we did see the U.S. kind of lighten some of their tone against China and tariffs, we're kind of seeing the teeter-totter back and forth on that still. So again, looking at a bullish retest off of 92.5 for some more upside, and then some potential resistance at 100K. So like potential long at 92 would be my zone for longs right now. For a short, I'd be looking at a short right at 100K. I don't think we're going to blast right through 100K. I think we're going to find some resistance probably at 100K. And if you guys want, if you want to do a drop, if you want to do some trading on your own, we do have a link for you to sign up for Blowfin in the comments down below if you want to try that out as well. Okay. I said drop because Scott Eving says, yes, BTC is starting to drop. Yes, it's dropping a little bit after a very nice rally this morning. Bitcoin not too long ago was up to 95.6, which, you know, finding a little bit of resistance here isn't that surprising, because if you look at, again, these daily candle closes over here, there was clearly a level of resistance happening right here. We've seen some bounces off this level. So coming back down to 92, maybe revisit the, 94 level again, if, we can kind of hold here. So we've got a lot of little zones that we can peek at as Bitcoin traders. Looking at what is going on in terms of biggest gainers, biggest losers today. Pudgy Penguins is up. Deep Book Protocol. We've got Monero getting a little bit of a rally. So we've got some altcoins, a few altcoins surging. Not quite like we had over the weekend. We had quite a few altcoins surging this weekend, and at the end of last week, it seemed kind of like an everything rally. Shouldn't be that shocking, considering, if you just take a peek at the total market cap, it's pretty interesting. Just in a matter of, let's say, from 8 days, going from, where was this, April 20th to April 28th, Bitcoin came up, well, total market cap came up about 10%. At one point, it was up a whopping 13%. Bitcoin's king. So Bitcoin, is a majority of these moves. But when the total market cap goes up 13% or so, you're going to have some altcoins that go up 50%. And we certainly saw that. We did certainly see that. I mean, just look at the last 7 days. Pudgy Penguins is up 122%. Look, 146%. These things are up big. A lot of coins are up big in the last 7 days within the top 100. A lot of 40%ers, a lot of 30%ers, which is why you buy these dips. When you see this fear and greed index low, and it was way lower before, you buy that. Now we're neutral. We're not necessarily greedy yet. We're not breaking out. We're not finding new all-time highs right now. But when this is neutral, still better than buying it in the green. Always best to be buying, well, the fear is strongest, no doubt about it. You could have bought Bitcoin. It's unbelievable. If you have been sitting on the sidelines, you missed a dip, potentially, down to 74K. Imagine buying Bitcoin at 93 instead of buying it at 74K. Why miss the discount? Take advantage of the dips. You could have bought Solana as low as $95. It broke below $100, which I thought could happen. It absolutely did. And what an incredible discount it was. It's almost up double from that even, which is incredible. I mean, less than double, but still quite a bit. So we take advantage of these dips, guys. Something we talk about all the time. Are there some big losers today? Well, we did have a nice little pump lately, so we've got a couple things just trickling back down a little bit, coming back down to earth. Stacks. I mean, they've already been down to earth for a while, but just kind of retracing after getting a little bit of a pump. Nothing goes straight up. We got a nice little pump over the weekend at the end of last week, and we're just kind of getting a couple of retracements right now. But in general, the crypto industry, especially in the US, is looking strong. How's it going, Daryl? Shout out to you, Waldo. Daryl says Monero spiked because there was a suspicious transfer moving 3,500 BTC into Monero. Probably to cover up an exploit. Who knows? I got to look at that. I haven't heard of it, but I know Monero, and it's something that pumps from time to time. I don't know why that would be necessarily a bullish thing for Monero. If there's some kind of cover up for an exploit, I don't see why that would necessarily be a bullish thing, but it's an interesting take for sure. Trump ushers in $8.2 billion wave of crypto deals. So now we're in this crypto friendly era, and it's quite a time to be alive. Kind of readdressing some of the things that we've seen as of late. $8 billion in deals is a significant thing for the USA. Some of the recent ones was the launch of 21 Capital, this new Bitcoin company. Was it Jack Mullers? I forget what his name was. That kid who's launching this crypto company to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, trying to go public through a $3.6 billion merger with a SPAC headed by Brandon Lutnick, the son of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. So you have Trump's sons in the crypto business. You have the son of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick in the crypto spaces. It's a family business, folks. This is the third crypto deal valued at more than $1 billion to be announced in the past few weeks. We also talked about the Ripple deal. We talked about this acquiring prime broker Hidden Road for $1.2 billion. Kraken bought for $1.5 billion the future brokers Ninja Trader. And we've got more and more people building crypto products and expanding into the US with crypto than ever before. Because clearly, guys, it's a pro-crypto time. All right? Altogether, crypto companies have reached 88 deals worth a total of $8.2 billion since the start of 2025. That is almost triple the transaction value from 188 deals in the crypto sector in the entirety of 2024. So we're about a quarter of the way through the year, and we've already got half as many. It's more. That is almost triple the transaction value. And it's triple the value. There's 188 deals in 2024. We've almost got half the amount of deals, but it's already triple the value. It's clearly a more bullish time for this asset class. And this is the reason why some people believe that the 4-year cycles are done as we know it, and talking about these up-only kind of ideas, which, again, I still have a hard time playing through. Waldo says, my short is playing out. What are some targets we could reach on this dip? For which one? Bitcoin, Waldo? We could talk about it. Yeah, it's Jack Mullers. Okay. Yeah, he wants to be the next sailor. Who doesn't want to be the next sailor, right? Trump's wild first 100 days leave key questions unanswered. It is uncertain where several big ticket items, including the ultimate fate of his tariffs, go from here. Besant says it's up to China to de-escalate trade war. China says it's up to the U.S. to treat us fairly and be nice. So, still trade problems, tariff problems. S&P a little bit red today, just because we're not having a bunch of positive news today. Still need more relief with these tariffs. The tariff thing's still ongoing. Okay, people? Okay, people. And Waldo, you want to know some targets? Yeah, for me right now, what I'd be looking at for Bitcoin is a possible bounce at the very first level at 92.4. Call it 92.5. We could get a bounce down there. That is, if I was in a short from 95 something, I would be looking to do some take profits around, 92.5, 92.6. Maybe you could keep some on the table, though. I mean, you could close out the trade and open a new long here at like 92.5, 92.6, where we might get a bounce if we get a wick a little bit lower. Let's say we come down to like 92.1, just a little bit of wick below this trend line. Maybe you could reopen along there. Maybe you stay in because maybe you think, and I think it could happen, 88 or even 83 is back on the table. We could come back down there because the reality is these tariff things still aren't solved quite yet. Bitcoin dominance also, if Bitcoin dominance wants to break out, the easiest way for Bitcoin dominance to break out, honestly, guys, is when altcoins fall and Bitcoin just kind of stays steady or falls a little, but altcoins fall harder like that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's easier for Bitcoin to fall less than it is for Bitcoin to pump more, if that makes sense. So still looking at like 71 to 72% for Bitcoin dominance. We'll keep an eye on that. But anyway, there's some of the stories that I'm looking at and just kind of how I'm interpreting these markets right now personally. Let me know how you guys are feeling. But on top of the billions of dollars worth of deals, the $8.2 billion wave, triple the amount of value in deals than we saw in entirety of 2024. We've also got this very interesting conversation coming up. Trump floats income tax cut to ease tariff impact. Now, what we've talked about a lot with this president is, for crypto purposes, the possibility of him actually eliminating income tax. We've talked about that too, but the possibility of eliminating capital gains tax for American-based crypto coins. So like algorand, I think, was one of them. XRP, certainly one of them. XDC, Cardano, Solana. So these could happen still later this year, but now we have this other story happening, where on the 25th of April, he came out to the South Lawn of the White House and floated the idea of an income tax cut. Now, we've seen this idea come out before, but I want to remind you guys, like, this could happen. Okay, we've got a lot of taxes in the U.S. We're still going to pay taxes in a variety of ways, but with all these tariffs going on, Americans, are getting higher prices on some of these items. So how are we going to give some relief to Americans that are getting higher prices on some of the price tags? Well, maybe they pay less tax, right? And if the U.S. is going to be making money and profiting more from the trade strategy, then maybe we tax Americans less. That's the idea. It's being talked about. You'd think that'd be a bullish thing for the markets. Not as much as tariffs are a negative thing for the markets, but generally, I'm happy to see the markets are kind of coming back a little bit. Bitcoin certainly, but the S&P being back to where it is right now is decent. It's getting a little bit of a recovery, even with the reality setting in of May. We're not going to get a rate cut. We already know that. In June, we've got a 34% chance of not getting a rate cut as well. So we might not even get a rate cut in June, and the odds kind of keep going higher on this. Now, July, 6% chance we don't get a rate cut. There's a 39% chance that we get a 0.25% cut, and there's a 50% chance somehow, some way, that by July, we're going to get a half a point cut, which would be incredible. If in July we got a half point cut, that would be something to start pricing into the markets. Maybe now. I mean, it could happen now. That would be my argument for why we could just see some upside. Is fine. We submit to May, we submit to June. Markets just are like, fine, it's not going to happen. Or maybe we still think we're going to get a rate cut in June. There's a 60% chance. And then we're going to kind of start going up. If we're going to get a rate cut in June, rate cut in July, and by July we're going to be down half a point, then maybe we're going to begin this rally here soon. But still like to get these tariffs out of the way. They're just not out of the way yet, though. We do like what's happening in terms of Bitcoin percentage returns here for April, up 13% for the month of April. Just a few short days left here in this month, and then we're going into May. Some people say sell in May, walk away. But if we got June and July offering up potential rate cuts, well, then maybe that saying's not so good after all. I've personally never really liked that saying. I don't really love those sayings in general. I don't believe in that stuff. Strategy added 15,355 Bitcoin. This is Michael Saylor's company, MicroStrategy, added 15,000 Bitcoin for $1.42 billion, even though Fortune magazine reported that Saylor is balking at buying crypto now that it's dipping. Look, they've been buying Bitcoin. They're going to continue to buy Bitcoin. They've got now 550,000 Bitcoin on the books. They acquired probably 50,000 Bitcoin this month. That's crazy. What an incredible time to just be buying more Bitcoin, especially if we're going to be seeing bigger things in the future. Again, billions of dollars, $8 billion worth of deals, 3 times the value of all the deals combined that happened in 2024. We got predictions coming out of $210,000 Bitcoin in 2025. We've also got Standard Chartered Bank, a bank coming out, $1.1 trillion Standard Chartered Bank predicts a new Bitcoin all-time high in second quarter. So the bank is looking at the possibility of rate cuts and saying, I think it's a bullish thing. That thing, before the halfway point of this year, we're going to start seeing a rally, meaning Standard Chartered Bank thinks that the markets are going to start pricing in a rally for risk-on assets because a rate cut is coming. It's a pretty good sign of things to come. Standard Chartered has been getting more and more bullish on crypto over time. There's no doubt about it. And you like to see it. You really do like to see it, guys. We've also got ProShares getting a green light from the SEC for 3 XRP ETFs. I'm going to do an XRP ETF video later today to talk a little bit more about this because this is very, very good. But a lot of positive things happening in the crypto space, my friends. A lot of positive things happening indeed. And I love talking about it. I love talking about it. Right now, we've got a few folks watching on YouTube on X. If you're watching on X, give us a repost. Give us a comment down below. Say something. Say hello in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, guys, and tap that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Yes, sir. What else is going on? Let me just peek at the chat and see what is happening. Roman in the chat. Roman, excuse me. What about Helium Mobile? That coin tends to pump. I think Helium's going to have a nice pump if and when we have an altcoin season, and I do think we will have an altcoin season. Real Ape Father says ICP over 2x max. What do you mean by that? Oh, do you think ICP has a chance of skyrocketing? Yeah, I mean, skyrocketing is relative. But yeah, I mean, where's ICP these days? ICP's rank number 37. Let's see where it previously was. Hasn't had a tremendous hop up. Earlier this year, it was up to 14 bucks. Yeah, I mean, look, I think ICP can get back to these December 2024 highs, maybe go a little higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I wouldn't be surprised to see, do the old 10x thing. But even with this, and just like anything, guys, if you're waiting on a 10x, you take profit at 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, right? Take profit on the way up. I think a lot of these altcoins can go a lot higher. I mean, if Bitcoin's really going to be $1 million one day, we've been talking about this. Like, if you understand what the market cap of Bitcoin will be at that point, and then you just kind of do some math to say, okay, if Bitcoin gets to $1 million, the market cap of Bitcoin is going to be somewhere over $10 trillion, which means there's going to be $10 trillion invested in the rest of the crypto market. But right now, there's only 2-point-something trillion in the entire market. So you've got a 5 or 10x for altcoins coming if Bitcoin hits $1 million. And I don't think Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million this year. But even with that, there's going to be some good altcoins that still 5, 10x. There's going to be some altcoins that do more than that are lower cap. And I think ICP is one that people are paying attention to. Is Toshi a buy now? It's certainly lower than it was at its highs. And it's a meme. So, you manage your risk accordingly because it's a meme. But yeah. Sorry to lay it to chat. Stacks, it's still one of your biggest bags you hold. It looks like a great project. It is still one of my focuses. I still like it a lot. I'm quite disappointed with the price action as of late, obviously, but the whole crypto market's been struggling in terms of altcoins, especially. I think that we are going to have a good time for stacks ahead. I think it will take new highs. I believe that DeFi on top of Bitcoin could potentially be quite big. I mean, it is Bitcoin after all, and DeFi on top of Bitcoin, if it operates well and it's easy to use, it's got good user interface, good transaction times, good transaction costs, it could be good. And the costs are decent, and the times are actually quite quick now with the Nakamoto upgrade that has been complete for a while. But if the broader market's not coming up, then stacks is going to have a hard time coming up as well. So that's just the reality of the situation. Yeah, let's see here for the BTC. What we got going on? Zing, zing, zing. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see, Bitcoin retest 92, 91, something like that. So I'm keeping an eye on that. On these lower time frames, 91.7 potentially, maybe a little bit lower. Yeah. Simon Kelly says, Kip, how you doing? What's next? Can we break 96 on this run or back down to 80K first? I think maybe back down to 91.7 first. Who knows? Maybe we're going to keep going, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if we stayed in this range for a little while now. We've really kind of come up into this, we've come up into this range and we've really stayed up here for a little while. And last time we did that, it's kind of this little chop game and then revisit the next level. So we blasted through the 88 to 91 range. Just blasted through, but kind of what I'm looking at. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now for BTC. Going below 90K again. I would not be surprised to see us go below 90K again at all. I mean, guys, I hate to say it. I'm gonna have a hard time letting it go because I really believed, and notice how I'm using past tense right now. I really believed that we could revisit the 71, maybe 65K level. I did not want to see us revisit 53 or whatever, but things were getting spooky with tariffs. They still are. We don't have resolve with tariffs. So I'm going to take this off the table because now I don't believe we're going to visit that lower level. I'm going to get rid of all these other ones because we've just got too many trend lines. Let's just clean it up, guys. Let's clean it up. And let's forget even about the 65K level too. Okay, let's clean it up a little bit. Let's get rid of let's just get rid of that for now. I'm going to get rid of 83 for now as well. I just want to clean this thing up. And we've got 4 key levels that I want to look at. We could still maybe see that. I have a hard time imagining Bitcoin coming back down to 71 right now, to be honest with you guys. It's still possible. But I would absolutely... Let's do this. Let's make these green. Green means possible. Okay. Green means possible. Green means possible. And then yellow means maybe. All right. But I'm looking for, maybe a bullish retest off, 91.8 for continuation to the upside. I was looking at 92.5, maybe 91.8. Anywhere from 92.5 to, 91.8 probably. Looking at the lower time frame, I feel a little bit better about 91.8. Well, it looks like a double top. I mean, this. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we did come back down to the 80s. I really wouldn't. Am I a believer in the Omega candle? I'm a believer that crypto does some wild things, and Omega candles or terrible candles or bear candles or bull candles can happen at any moment. All of a sudden, it's like I was telling some guys in my golf league, I was like, yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I talk about crypto. Like, what do you talk about? Well, I talk about crypto. There's a lot of news. What do you mean? Well, for example, do you hear the story about the guy that bought the $6 million banana? Yeah. And then tariffs are big. Those impact crypto markets. And I basically was like, it's basically like Trump farts and the price moves 10%. That's the world we live in. And so, Omega candles, they can, I don't exactly know what you mean by an Omega candle, but we're in a wild world, right? And these prices are very volatile based on the words that come out of Trump's mouth. Omega candle is 100K in 1 day movement. I do not believe in that. I do not believe in that, but that would be sick. That would be cool. Hopefully the right way. No, I don't really believe that Bitcoin's going to move 100K in a day in this cycle. But once you get Bitcoin above $1 million, then it could start moving. Let's say you got $1 million Bitcoin price. A 10% move for Bitcoin is 100K. Right? I mean, so one day we're going to see that if we get $1 million Bitcoin, because there will be a 10% move on Bitcoin in the future. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want Omega in the wrong direction. That's for sure. That's for sure. I hear you, Marlon PB. Marlon PB Cheetah. All right, guys, not too much else going on. Wanted to get a live stream out there for you today. Happy Monday. Talked about some critical levels, talked about some of the big stories. Guys, maybe some tax cuts for Americans. If we do see tax cuts for Americans, that is more money to invest. Historically, it seems like when we've got extra money laying around here in America, we like to buy some crypto. Definitely not too into the Cronos memes right now. That market is shot, just as is pretty much every other meme coin market right now. Focused on the big caps right now until we have real signs of an altcoin season potentially coming in. You know, you could certainly shuffle into some of these little bags if you'd like to, you know, to kind of position yourself while these things are super low. Blacksea says we're going to Vegas. He is going to be going to Vegas, yes, and you guys can go too. And the Vegas conference, on our videos, we've got a link to buy your tickets to the Vegas Bitcoin conference if you guys would like to go. So check it out. All right, guys, that's all I got. I'm Crypto Kip. This is the Crypto Report. Thanks for tuning in. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. DCA HODL, of course, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, y'all. See you later.